On this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, Kingsville Firefighters are recruiting. We're going to talk some NHL hockey because Kevin's into superstition mode at the moment.
Yeah.
Erie Shores Healthcare Nurses Week. All that and plenty more on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. That Kingsville Podcast is proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. Yet again, ChatGPT is going to write all the script for it. So let's see what
Beer.
The old
They just do the whole show with this.
Did you type in?
They tell us what to say.
Beer.
delicious Kingsville Brewery beer funny commercial for a podcast. In a world full of boring beers.
No, yeah. In a world
Full of boring beers. One brewery dared to say, what if beer, but actually good? From the scenic shores of Kingsville, Ontario, comes a bold new flavor experience. Kingsville Brewery, a beer so smooth even your uncle who drinks from a shoe at weddings will say, hey, this is classy. Our award-winning beer is brewed for people who like quality, character, and the occasional barbecue where someone catches on fire.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. Hey, listen, is the shoey from F1? Maybe. I don't know.
Shoot the boot. Gonna shoot the boot.
This is another character, so I'm going to do another voice.
Okay.
I used to drink cheap beer. Now I drink Kingsville. My taste buds filed for emancipation and moved up in the world. ChatGPT, you are witty.
Coming through.
Oh. Kingsville Brewery. Taste the difference. Because life's too short for bad beer. And regret smells worse.
That's copy.
Find Kingsville Brewery at your local LCBO or wherever fine beer is sold. Warning may cause spontaneous toasts and improve social standing. Thank you, Kings. It's getting better. It's getting better. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for
Get it delivered for free.
You can in Windsor and Essex County, KingsvilleBrewery.com. Free delivery in Windsor, Essex County. County.
Yep.
Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast. It's got a sense of it. It is actually it's Skynet. So here we go.
I think the shoe was saying it's bad.
But it's like Ricardo from F1 doing a shoey after he was winning F1 races.
Yeah.
Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. It's Dave, Kevin, and Steve yet again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking and subscribing, Mom. The analytics are showing that 100% of moms love us. And thank you for tuning in, moms. It was just Mother's Day.
Woo!
Yeah, so we were all celebrating moms over the weekend. So happy Mother's Day belated. But Kevin was celebrating something else.
No, not this weekend.
Not this weekend.
I was crying this weekend. I was celebrating earlier, and then the Leafs lost Friday, and then it was pretty epically bad on Saturday or on Sunday. Sorry, and so now we've got a series.
Yeah.
Now apparently the Leafs aren't the greatest team ever to walk, as I assumed that they were after game 2. And so now it appears that we have to actually work to win a couple more games here. And yeah, it was
in the predictions, the annual predictions, if you go back and watch that episode, for years, the past couple of years, I've just picked a Florida team, and it's been the Panthers and the Lightning. I think I picked the Lightning this year, or I possibly very well could have picked the Panthers, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Because I have a hand sad somehow. And we mention it because the Red Wings have been the team in this area, having such provenance and Stanley Cup history. Finally, the folks that celebrate the blue and white can be a little bit proud this year. So let them have their moment. So Steve, you're so poignant.
So I'll jump in for a sec. So I would always wear I have 2 or 3 Leaf jerseys. Mm-hmm. I would always have a jersey on. And then I realized that I have one of the older white jerseys, the old Coho ones from the Matt Sundin era. So I would wear that. And then I realized that after 2000 and whatever 5, they weren't great. So that jersey is tarnished. So I had a blue one that I was wearing. And then I realized like last year, it probably tarnished that jersey too. So now I am a no logo watcher. So I'm repping all of the teams except Toronto right now. And I can't rep the Raptors because they just got screwed on their draft lottery.
Okay. Sorry, this conversation for a few, but we'll get through.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's not a whole lot of NBA fans, but man, like tanking and then getting the 9th pick is tough. But so I've gone to no Leaf logo, and I'm hoping like it's game night. They're probably, I think it was a 7:00 start, so they're actually playing at this moment, and here's hoping, fingers crossed that they can eke one out, and then this episode's probably dropping Friday, which is another game day. So, and then Friday I'll either be curled up in a ball or watching eagerly, or also potentially curled up in a ball, and you know. Man, their team, it looks so good, and it's just the last 2 games it's not clicking.
For all of you watching at home, Steve's facial expressions are just priceless. So that's
Hit me, Steve. Hit me.
Do you want to take one stab at them and we're moving on?
No, you know what? This might be the first year I actually have some sympathy for Leaf fans.
Yeah.
I don't know why, and I believe it was John Gaffin that once said that the Wings could win 6 out of 7 cups, but if the Leafs win that other one in between, you will never hear the end of it from Leaf fans.
Oh, 100%.
And, you know, it's not so much the team for some of us; it's Leaf fans. And you know, I know a lot of great people who are Leaf fans. There's a gentleman on the route I deliver, and he has a Maple Leafs mailbox. And one day he actually came out to get the mail, and I said, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "For what?" I said, "For making sure I didn't have to touch that thing." And you know, so there's a bit of banter now between him and I. And there's another mailbox that has the Leaf car flags attached to it. So I'm, lift up the one side, put the mail in the other, trying to avoid the flag. But in truth, I would like to see people like Kevin and my father-in-law and other people get to see a win.
Thank you. Because much like this team, that we've all been passionate about, that group of fans has been diehard passionate about the Leafs. And for, as Kevin described, countless amounts of years. What was it? 57 was the last?
67.
67, thank you. It was 57 for the Lions. To go and endure that much pain and suffering for years and years and years, now to be able to celebrate a little bit.
And I'm getting older, and I look at it and think, does it really matter? Like, I've seen my team win 4 Stanley Cups in my lifetime already. And I celebrated and I enjoyed it and I embraced it, but I never turned around to a fan of another team and was like, "Yeah, look at us, we won." No, and I think that's the fear of some non-Leaf fans.
I can't wait to do that. I'm going to be running down.
So this is the issue. This is what it comes down
Main
to.
Street of Kingsville with all of my Leafs jerseys on. I'm going to put all 4 on at once. Like, yeah,
you'll look like a 4 on.
Suck it, Red Wing. Oh, you guys are the worst.
But see, there's no need for that. Like, celebrate your team.
There probably is no need.
But I mean,
but it feels good. So that is, hey, listen, this is only the second round of playoffs, right? They got a long way to go to.
But honestly, I can if they can beat Florida, I can see them beating Carolina, assuming it's Carolina. I don't see Washington coming back.
I don't see Washington. I mean, they have Ovechkin. So you can never say no, but
Carolina's well coached. They're deep. They've got good goaltending.
I would be scared about Carolina if the Leafs are able to make it on. I don't think either of those series are easy.
No, I'm not saying it would be easy, but I think Florida, to me, and it's just my opinion, obviously, but Florida is the bigger challenge for Toronto than Carolina would be.
Yeah.
And the only team after that, to me, that would stand in the way of the Leafs winning the Cup is Dallas.
Yeah, or Edmonton.
No. I think the Leafs have enough firepower and better goaltending that they could beat the Oilers.
Maybe. I mean, they'd
But
have to be able to score.
I'm trying to be optimistic for Leaf fans.
No,
here,
I
okay?
know,
Like,
and
but
I'm like the like as pessimistic as it comes because I'm a Leaf fan.
right. But it was interesting. Just as a quick aside, a lady I work with is a Leafs fan, and I'd be happy for her too if they won. And she mentioned that last night that Dallas put out 5 players on the ice at the same time, all from Finland. And I noted that yes, and they scored all 3 goals, proving that they can finish.
Anyway. Thank you, Gary.
Anyway,
Glass.
You're such a yoker.
Anyway,
The
that was good. As in like yoker it.
yoker it.
There you go.
Yeah, you like that?
That was good.
Thanks.
We're getting cultural now with our puns.
I was gonna make one other point. No,
Sorry.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Oh, you know what? Just keeping it local. Aaron Ekblad had one of the most vicious elbows to Joseph Wall's head that hardly got picked up, and obviously no penalty, and NHL didn't look at it, and I don't. Even on the initial broadcast, they never really discussed it. But now, because Leaf fans are obsessive, there's a million different pieces of the elbow that you can see where he was coming in, dumped the puck, and then clearly came across to try to elbow Wall in the head in the last game. Obviously, after Sam Bennett elbowed Stollers in the head and gave him and potentially it was the shot.
And he's out.
But 2 headshots and he's out.
Well, keeping it local, that might explain then the Domi hit on Barkov.
100%.
Yeah.
100% it does. And which now, like you kind of
I don't know. It's a conversation for 2.
No, but
I think we understand now why Domi ran him and seeing the elbow, and after we're done I'll show you. It 100% deserved. That's old school hockey. Now, should a person ever be running into the boards head first? Absolutely not. But old school hockey code, that hit was deserved.
there's been a few things in this series, and again, I'm not watching much. I do see a couple of highlights on social media or TV, but it's beyond borderline. Some of the stuff I've seen from Florida, not necessarily from Toronto. Like some of their antics, some of their
Toronto's
skullduggery.
Toronto's not innocent, obviously, but Florida's a team that's built to beat the Leafs, and you can see that they are meant. And Florida will give. I think Florida and Washington would be a great series because Washington's another one of those teams that is really gritty.
Tom Wilson, Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But I think
Dave.
I
Florida,
can hear all the listeners just tuning out. And
All the moms
unsubscribing.
are like,
5 of them will like it.
75% of our listenership are women.
Are you saying there aren't women hockey fans? Why are you being like
Of
that?
that 75%.
Should we talk about your unconscious biases next in our next topic?
That would be good. That would be fine. We could do that.
But regardless, next round is going to be epic. It's going to be epic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's nothing.
I don't want to
7
see
minutes.
it. I don't want to see it.
yeah. We only bring it up because of it's got such a big following in the area, right? The Wings have been the team for a lot of people, but Leafs have had just as rabid following.
I think it's 50-50 in this region.
That's what I mean. But you've
Yeah.
never been able to celebrate,
No.
so enjoy, much like the Lions,
Yeah.
and me. And now the Tigers being on top of the Major League.
Holy Moses.
Oh man, they look great.
Yeah.
They're like the dream
Have
I
you
always had.
seen what happened last
I
night?
did walk off, but it's like a great way to start summer, right?
Yeah.
You've got this playoff celebration. People are out walking around the neighborhood. I took the dog for a walk during game 2. No, game 3. I took the dog for a walk, and there was parties outside. It was a Friday night, right? Yeah, people were outside. It was vibrant. People were gathering and celebrating and hooting and hollering. It was awesome to see. Now people are going to Tiger games if you want to cross the border, if you so choose. It's fine. I do it every day.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Sure.
I do it every day.
Yeah.
But start of summer, and we had an announcement in our local area for an event that everybody kind of somewhat celebrates. I think it's significant.
It's an event.
Yeah, and August long weekend is Hogs for Hospice, and in Kingsville for the last couple of years we've had the Hogs that have come through for the county cruise, and you always wait to hear what the concert announcement is for who the headliners are for Friday and Saturday. And this past week they announced who the headliners were. So
why are you chuckling? What's so funny?
Well,
it's not
the headliner. It's who's co-headlining or special guest on Friday, and we'll get there. But the Saturday headliners, which I believe is Country Night as it's been, Mitchell Tenpenny and Carly Pierce, whoever they are, because I don't listen to country music.
I listen to country. I like, and I used to work in. I don't know if you know this. I used to work in radio.
Tell me more.
One time in country radio. I actually got my start in country radio, but the first quick aside. My very first newscast I ever did was on Country 105 in Peterborough, and it was the 5 p.m. news. Their most listened to news.
Jeez.
Yeah. Their most, and I'm. I was out of college. I was transitioning from co-op into hoping to get like weekend news gig, and then the news director's like, "Hey, why don't you go in and read the 5?" I'm like, "Okay," and but in college they teach you like how to sit in front of a teleprompter and read. They don't teach you how to work like the board,
anything else. And
so I'm sitting there in front of. I think the board was 20 pots long, and is like 4 mics, news clips, traffic, commercial stinger, like all the different stuff. And then you had to like turn off automation, fire your stinger, start reading off the teleprompter, turn your mic off, fire the clip, turn your mic back on, fire commercial, and do everything within 7 minutes. And if you're over 7 minutes, then all of a sudden the program director will come in and be like, "Now I have to drop a song." and that ruins everything.
Sacrilege.
So I go on the air, and it was an absolutely epic fail.
Oh.
I couldn't play clips. I was trying to read. I was stuttering. And so I get off the air, and I think I was like 27 minutes long, and I walk back into the newsroom, and George Gall was the news director there, and George looks at me and is like, "Well, that went a little sideways." I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, it's country. Who cares?"
Story was a little long, but very well told.
Yeah, thanks.
Very well told.
Thanks.
He went by Kevin Clint Block by then.
Yes.
Yeah. You're not going to give him one for that?
No, don't.
Yeah, it's all Steve all day here.
No.
Country 105.1. Thanks for tuning in.
So Carly Pierce, yeah, I've heard of her. Mitchell Tenpenny, I don't know. I did watch their like video, and I think I've recognized a couple of the songs.
You don't have a British pun for tenpenny? Steven,
no.
Your people.
Not off the top of my head.
Your
sorry.
people let us down. Well, the big headliner for the Rock Night, which is Friday night,
is who?
Again, not necessarily a headliner. It's who's
No, I think you should say who's opening for who.
I don't know. Well,
I think the man with the girl's name is
he's the opener.
No.
Oh, you think he's the headliner?
I do too.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Well, I think that. So let's say who it is, and then we'll break it down.
Friday, August 1st, for the rock show, Theory of a Dead Man and Kim Mitchell are the 2 artists.
So Theory of a Dead Man is the band that's not Nickelback.
Correct, but was in that Nickelback era in the 2000s.
Yeah, and it's Nickelback, but not.
Yeah, I thought they were on the same record label, or Chad Kroeger, the lead singer from Nickelback, was their producer with a record label, something like that. They did some stuff.
Yeah.
And they sound very...
Theory of a Nickel Wreck.
Wow, let's not... Come on.
For those of you playing at home, Kim Mitchell, that's another name that's a little obscure unless you were in Canadian...
Patio Land
lantern.
Might as well go for a soda or patio lantern.
Don't miss it while going for a soda.
Or
I am a wild party.
the one wild party. That's it. That's Kim Mitchell. Kim Mitchell is Canadiana. He was born in Sarnia, right? Like he's down here. Was in a band called Max Webster in the late 70s,
Which
early 80s.
is fantastic.
Max Webster, yeah. So
That band was fantastic.
and then Kim Mitchell did his.
Saw him open for Rush.
Ooh.
Kim Mitchell opened for Rush or Max Webster?
Max Webster.
For Rush.
For Rush.
Wow.
Cobo Arena, baby.
In the U.S., 2 Canadian bands in America.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Wow.
that'd be a great show.
So I'm laughing a little because I don't think Kim Mitchell's bad by any means. It's a matter of
he's also like 75.
72. We looked this up.
Oh, yeah.
We were, But Kim Mitchell and Theory of a Dead Man, not exactly the same genre of rock.
And here's how I think that, and I don't, while I do work at the hospital, I have absolutely zero input or any idea what happens with Hogs. Totally separate group. Here's what I'm theorizing, if you will, what's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Theory of a Dead Man is going to come out. And then I think there's going to be a Kim Mitchell intermission where Kim's going to come out and then just rock, go for a soda.
Okay.
And then it's then probably what's the one Max Webster song? There's one that's everyone would know, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then that song, and then Patio Lanterns, and then Theory of a Dead Man's come back out.
Maybe.
And Theory of a Dead Man probably is going to play backup for Kim Mitchell while Kim Mitchell's singing.
What was it?
Like, and then the lead singer, like Chad Record Nickel, will say like, "This is one of the highlights of my life, getting to play for Kim Mitchell."
Yeah. They can. Yeah.
Right? It's gonna be that.
like a notch in the belt for Canadian rock.
This is this. I've dreamed of this day to be able to play Patio Lanterns in Leamington.
It struck me like you got a guy who was a thing 40 years ago, and you got a band that was a thing 20 years ago, and the two of them didn't really kind of click for me for what it was like.
Yeah,
But hey, we'll see. For those that go, you can get your tickets on the Hogs for Hospice website, as always. Lawns $55 this year. VIP pit pass, $100. So she'll set you back to go see
per show. Both the same?
Yeah, Friday. That's Friday. Yeah, I think it's same price for both. Yeah, $55 on Saturday too, and $100 for Saturday. So you go. She'll set you back a little bit, but then again, it is live entertainment, and everybody should go and support, because if you want more to happen, you gotta participate.
Yep.
I'm-
It's for a
It's a
good
great
cause.
cause.
it is a great cause. Yeah. Everybody has kind of rallied around that organization and whatnot.
Don't forget too, they have the 50-50,
Yeah.
which usually has a pretty wild total at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the great events that happen at Seacliff Park. So it's fun. It's a fun weekend.
August 1st, 2nd, 3rd this year. So we got 78 days as per their their ticker on the website. But yeah, hogsforhospice.com. Go get your tickets now before they are sold out. Other significant things, and you are the guy at the hospital. It's Nurses Week.
It is Nurses Week and Hospital Appreciation Week.
And Hospital Appreciation Week. And Steve found this or saw it. You didn't prompt us.
I did not.
No, I saw this and I was engaged. I mean, Kevin and I have had conversations, obviously. I've had conversations with Kevin. I've led him about the quality of care that myself and some family members have received at Erie Shores. And so when this stuff pops up on social media, I do take the time to look at it. So this video came up about nurses, and it took a direction I wasn't expecting it to go. And it was very well done. And the reactions in the video are genuine. You can just tell it's, you ask, they're asked to do this, obviously. They're asked to do the video, and I don't know what sort of prompts or what you asked them to do, but I don't want to spoil the video. I want people to see it for themselves, but the second half was fantastic. And it, a little emotional, but
so just to preface the video, if people do see it, and I can take absolutely zero credit for it. Part of my team, James Budahan, who's our creative media producer, is an absolute genius when it comes to social media engagement and video. And he had this idea to go and do like a stoic nurses video. And then, like you mentioned, it kind of takes a different turn.
Yeah.
And all of those reactions were 100% improv. It was just like the way that people would react when you would start taping them.
Yeah.
Right. Because people get a little nervous and do what they do. And so it was actually when he pieced it together, it worked out so well because all of those reactions are actually like, they're genuine. It's not like they're being told to do anything. So it's fantastic. He did such a great job.
So with that obviously comes some special recognition. So I did ask Kevin for the list and he did provide it. So a lot of familiar names on here.
Yeah.
Volunteer of the Year, congratulations to Shelley Dobson.
Yeah.
Leader of the Year, Patty Fields. Employee of the Year, Teresa Coppola. Physician of the Year, Dr. Chris Anderson. And Nurse of the Year, Kristen Spicer.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations.
All well deserved.
Yeah.
We had a ton of nominations. It was a tough choice for our senior leaders, but yeah, a very deserving group.
And that's great that you have a ton of nominations.
Yeah, there was, I think, total for the 5 awards, something like 75 nominations.
Wow.
And there's 76 employees. No, kidding. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I to echo Steve's reaction, it was nice, right? It was an unexpected, not wrong unexpected, but the reality of who people are, it was really, really clearly expressed in that video, and it was a great way to celebrate everything that frontline workers, nurses, practitioners, all of medical care service people do, and it's a part of their lifestyle and they're part of their fabric. So
just I saw it on Instagram on the Erie Shores Healthcare, their Instagram account. There we go. Trying to come up with the word. So I don't know what other social media platforms it's on, but that's where I saw it. So if you get a chance, please take a look.
It's on Facebook and LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, lots of.
Oh
no, Gary.
We've gone dark.
Well, I guess we're not a podcast anymore. Thanks for tuning in to that Kingsville podcast.
Chat GPT will finish the episode.
I'll be honest, I would probably look better without the blue light.
Oh, why are you saying that?
What? No, I think dark is my best side.
Oh, well.
Call that Kevin.
It is your
Kevin
namesake. So other things that are happening in the community, Town of Kingsville is recruiting. Oh yeah, there you go, merch.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, have that or after. Town of Kingsville is recruiting for volunteer firefighters, which is such an important part of our town because, as we all know, Town of Kingsville does not have a full-time fire staff in either the south or the north stations. And every year that they do, or every time that they do the recruitment push, they add to the force, and it's such a necessity in a town that's growing like ours. So if you go to kingsville.ca/ENR community work here, there's the application package. But they're doing a big social media push and featuring some of the firefighters and personnel and staff throughout the different stations, just to give their personal perspective about what it is to be a firefighter in the town. So they are having a recruitment open house May 26th at 6:30 p.m. at both the South and North Station. All applicants and future applicants are invited to come out and meet team members, tour the trucks, and check out specialized equipment. That is just an adult version of Touch Truck for all the kids. So I might just like, hey, what's this do? Woo! Sorry, I probably just like sorry for that.
Gary's deaf now.
Sorry for headphone listeners, but yeah, if you want to make a difference in the community and this is something that you're interested in, here's a perfect opportunity.
Well, one of the most fun events of the year to cover for myself was the Firefighters Recognition Banquet. For the hilarity, if you will, because they would share stories sort of at the mic. But then, sitting at a table, you hear other little stories or nearby tables, and the camaraderie between the firefighters it's different. It's different to what's up?
Don't show him. Don't show him. Poor boy's gonna have a heart
Okay.
attack.
Am I getting cut off by the Leaf score?
Yeah, unfortunately, Gary.
I didn't do this one.
No.
Okay.
It's not my fault.
No, that's okay. I'm like, what is going on here? But anyway, going back to it, it's more than just being a part of a team, if you will. Like you're working together to keep each other safe and to keep the residents safe. But just the respect factor that they come from all different circles of life, different jobs, and what have you. But the respect factor that they have for one another was one of the things that always stood out for me. And it's one of those things. Like I've coached soccer for years, and I tell them, you don't have to like everyone you're playing with, but you have to respect them, and you have to be able to work with them. And it shows.
Basic requirements for volunteering. You need to have a valid driver's license, be at least 18. You be physically and mentally able to perform the tasks and duties of the job, able to commit to required training and fire calls, and you live in the response area, and no previous convictions of a criminal offense related to job duties of a firefighter. And some of the reasons why they indicate on some of the materials, why should you be a firefighter? You get to protect your fellow citizens and be a community role model, help educate people in the broader community about fire safety and emergency preparedness, work with new technology and learn about proper equipment maintenance, and gain valuable work experience, knowledge, and transferable skills. And it's all volunteer based. So if you're interested, like I said, it's May 26th is the open house at both South and North stations in Kingsville, and they do have one in Cottam.
Where?
It's in Cottam. It's in the middle.
Why?
What's it on? Is it on Fox Street? It's on the same street as Ridgeview Park?
Correct.
Is that Fox?
I believe that is Fox.
Okay.
I am not 100% certain.
Yeah.
I say Cottam is it's a cross, and then one side is Dairy Freeze, the other side is Bellevue Golf Course, the other one is toward Leamington, and then the other one's home. So I don't know. Technical difficulty. So again, go to the website. They're accepting applications till May 23rd, but they get the open house on May 26th. So kingsville.ca, work here, blah, 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 if you're interested.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. So we also noticed that there was a posting for a position with the town of Kingsville that occurred over the not so distant past. There was a recent posting for a business relations officer. So town of Kingsville had hired on a economic development and tourism officer, Sue Rice. A few years ago, she ended up with the position. They are now filling and modifying that role into a business relations officer position. They found that over the last little while, I did reach out to the town, and this is some information that they provided me. They found that this would be a better suited position for the town in order to execute some of the initiatives that they were looking towards. So a couple of points. There was a very short recruitment window, which I was kind of questioning. The posting was up for 6 days, but they wanted to do a quick turnaround to make sure that the job wasn't vacant and unfulfilled. So it sounds like they're trying to pivot a little bit at the town. They're trying to work towards building better, stronger business community relations. I hope that that's what it is. I hope it's not just lip service. I hope it's something that we can help build and solidify some of the partnerships that we have in town.
Well,
but that was a very pregnant pause, Kev.
It'll be interesting. I know they've been trying to do different open houses and town halls, and the mayor has tried to form different working groups, and there's not a whole lot of participation from the business sector, because I think a lot of the business sector doesn't feel that the town has a lot of support for them. one of the largest businesses in our town, and I'll preface this, of course, with the fact that I am a farmer, have a farm, my family has a farm. And one of the largest business sectors in Kingsville is agriculture. And the town basically napalmed their relations with their agricultural industry last year when they implemented some new licensing guidelines that seemed strange at the time, and a lot of farmers had issues with, and those licensing guidelines, which were supposed to be reviewed on an annual basis, have still not been reviewed 5 months into the year. So I think that there's a lot of work to do. This person's going to have a big job. And hopefully it's, step one of a long-term approach to try and mend some of the fences that they worked pretty hard to break, So we'll see. Economic development is an important part of the town, and the fact they didn't call it an economic development officer is also an interesting decision. But we'll see what the difference is between what an economic development officer and a business relations officer. Were they an officer too? Business relations. Were they a bro?
I think they were. I think they were a bro. Business relations officer.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what the bro can do, right?
That joke did fall flat on its face because of my reaction time. Yeah, I'm not going to get on the soapbox. It's over. It's been years. It doesn't matter anymore, right? My opinion's been said and whatnot, how I think things should be and go. Tourism is as important as economic development in Kingsville because of who we are here in town. We're a destination. We're not an economic sector that's going to have factories and create blue-collar jobs like that. It's very, very much one and the same and strategic for those business partners that exist in order to facilitate and continue growth for those that have been located. Farms, growers, entrepreneurs, et cetera, et cetera. So there are much smaller communities in Ontario that have a much bigger staff and have focused budgets on these tasks. That is what I want to see out of budget 2026. I want to see if we are renaming the position and we're refocusing whatever those efforts are. You need to substantiate what that means, what the expectation is, and how you can see a glide path to success or measurables that are giving value to that position rather than just, we got an economic development officer. What do you want? Right? Like you said, repairing relationships. Hey, does it mean X amount of growth? Does it mean retention? Right? Business retention and expansion studies are what everybody in ECDev uses as, this is what we're going to use as our platform. Sometimes they're not well done. Sometimes they are well done. But I think if this is what the initiative is, and we'll see as time tells and whoever the individual is and what their execution is, it has to be something that the town is serious about and not just filling a need because that's what the community expects. So
what do you think, Steve?
Steve doesn't think. He's moving on. He doesn't like these topics.
No. That's well, kind of fair. No, I get your point about the tourism thing, but it's the same argument I made for yours. Is you can't be a tourist town when more than half your businesses are closed on a Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, or after 8
businesses
o'clock.
that would be attractive to a tourist. I bought this shirt in Kingsville. I got this.
Hey, we're a podcast again.
This trinket or this artwork. I got it in Kingsville. Like, they're here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Closed Monday, Tuesday. That's your weekend. And again, like, I'm not ripping on business owners. It's their choice. But you can't brand us as a tourist town when you can go out and shop on a Saturday, but come Sunday, you can certainly eat places, which is great, and get ice cream and do stuff like that. But
Well, and this is a conscious decision to move away from a singular tourism person.
Yeah.
Right. So this is pulling back on some of that tourism focus because Sue Rice was a business and economic development and tourism person.
Yeah.
And now it's the position as business relations officer, and tourism now will go to another staff member in town hall.
Or not be a focused priority and just as generic as whatever the local tourism authority with TWEPI. And maybe because we all pay as taxpayers, we pay into TWEPI's budget.
Yeah.
Town of Kingsville does, Harrow, Essex does, etc. So maybe they'll just rely on them as the crutch to push, tourism to Kingsville. Who knows?
Well, I mean, the County of Essex for years has actually done a pretty good job promoting the county as a whole. They put out their wine tour maps, they put out the bike tour maps, and it includes every municipality, obviously. So maybe that's,
Maybe it's enough.
Town of Ingersoll has tourism people, has economic development people in Ingersoll.
Yeah, but they have cheese.
They have cheese. You know about Ingersoll and their cheese. Why? Because they have tourism people that are broadcasting that throughout the province, the region, and reaches beyond.
Yeah, but Dave, we don't have cheese.
No, but what do we have, Kevin?
We don't
Delicious
have cheese.
fresh vegetables available at Lee and Maria's.
and more.
And more.
I got some and more on the weekend, actually.
I love Ann Moore. Actually, I
We
went through the market, and yes, it's great to be back in the market and see all the fresh goodness
It's
trickling in.
fresh right
Well, as I told you guys, we were furnishing the yard.
You were.
Yeah.
Yes, flowers go by, potted plants.
Excuse me.
Lee and Maria's. Look for the corn cob on Seacliff. What's the address, Kevin?
692 Seacliff Drive in Kingsville.
We get a whole bunch
you got
of
it
free
memorized?
food now. Thanks. Inadvertent sponsorship now.
Love it.
No, but there's
There's lots of great stands around.
And driving by Anna's on the weekend through Mother's Day, it's great to see that's the vibrancy. But that's tourism, folks. That's agro-tourism to an extent, where people who live in a city are like, I want to go for a drive on a Sunday, but I don't know where to go. Parks Blueberries in Thamesville gets so much traffic because they've advertised their farms, their country store, right? They only sell blueberries for a certain point of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like blueberry season is only in the mid to late summer.
But you can get a pie in December.
Anytime, because they've advertised it, because it's tourism.
Well, so another person I work with lives in Bell River, and her family came out on Mother's Day to Caponas to get their flowers.
Exactly. So I hope that the town of Kingsville is realigning what it is and what it means to be a business relations officer with respect to what we are and how we should focus our attention on that position. And I'm done because I don't want to talk about it anymore because we'll see.
Blood pressure's going up.
Yeah, but it's great. We can speculate all day, and until it's actually executed, we can't criticize. So,
We got a block party coming up. When's a block party?
First
was
one's
like-
in Cottam in June, isn't it?
it is. It's in June. I'll pull it up.
It was so I went to work this morning. It was spring, and I left, and it was summer.
Yeah,
It was so hot.
That's true. Yeah, it was 75. Sorry, what is it in Celsius? I don't
It was
know.
81. That's 27.
So it'll be fall again on Tuesday.
Oh, is that how quickly it's going to go?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think high of 16 last I saw.
Oh my
We're
God.
doing the weather now too, bro.
We are.
No, but it is
Weather and traffic on the twos
gonna-
here on
it is
Country
gonna cool
105.1.
down after the unofficial kickoff to summer, as in Victoria Day weekend.
It was 105.1 actually.
I have a memory.
Yeah, but I only said 105.
105.1.
You're right.
It's 105.3 just doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it does not.
So on the Kingsville.ca website, because it's a great resource for anything that you need to know that the town is putting on, because that's what they utilize the website for. They're looking for an adult beverage concession operator for the block party.
Our podcast started
It has reading websites here with my sultry radio voice.
Chat GPT, dude.
Oh, man.
Chat
They're
GPT
actually-
just
we're just-
reading
we're
out.
just
They're dubbing us.
Hey, ChatGPT, make three morons do a podcast.
Join
and
us
talk
in the
about-
next episode when we'll read the Herald News to you.
You asked a question, I'm answering it.
Yeah,
So the
no.
block party, the first one is summer solstice, June 21st, 5 to 10 in Cottam. First one in the town of Kingsville proper, July 19 from 5 to 10, and it is kids' night. August 16, this is the next one, country night, and then the finale, the grand finale. September 20, glow night, glow sticks and whatever it is. So, hey, and I'm sure we're going to supplement the calendar with a whole bunch of other little events that the town and or other people in the area are planning to fill those weekend voids while all the tourists are in town.
Well, I hope so, since we don't have a music festival or a Highland Games.
But you know what is happening, and tickets are available now. Counter In Sports is having their June event again, and the tickets are available right now on counterinsports.com. Go to there. Like we announced when Kara was on the show, special speaker at the show is Danielle Campo, Olympian. She's going to be at the event and give a speech and whatnot. So that's a fantastic opportunity. She's a motivational speaker. Great opportunity to just be a part of whatever she's got to offer and talk about. But open bar, food, live music, games, in a photo booth. Counter In and Line Change Co. exclusive merchandise and huge door prizes for sports weekend getaways, Flyers tickets, Blue Jays tickets, Toronto FC tickets, and much, much more. So go to their website, Counter In.
Sorry, did you say open bar?
That slipped through real quick. You got to buy your tickets first. So the event, again, Saturday, June 21st at Pelee Island Winery's Pavilion. It's from 3 to 8 p.m. So counterinsports.com. Go get your tickets. Ta-da! So, yeah, gentlemen, lots happening. Summertime. Am I missing something?
No, I think you got it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I think that's all of it.
Steve's, how's soccer going?
We lost the quarterfinal yesterday. It's over.
Oh, Dave.
That is not what I... How was I to know, Steve?
You weren't. I'm like, as soon as you looked at me, I'm like, don't ask about soccer.
How was I to know? No, was it a hard fought battle?
It was a good first half. We kind of fell apart in the second half. I will say, majority of the starting lineup, grade 11s. So a lot of optimism for next year. Mm-hmm. Great bunch of kids to work with. Wish the grade 12s well, as I always do, and moving forward with their lives. And if I decide to come back, or if they decide to have me back, then looking forward to it next year with that group for sure.
So kind of a good season to understand and build from, and although we
finished second in our division.
Hey,
and the hard part was the last 2 years we've been beaten up by LeSource, and we played LeSource yesterday. And I'm just like, come on,
get you.
They got us again.
It's something that you wish maybe you could have a recount for, right? And redo it over just to see if you'd actually win. Like local politics here, ladies and gentlemen, how's that segue? So we have a new prime minister, and there's a lot of action locally.
We have a recount.
Correct. So I remembered this, and that segue is priceless. Okay, give me the credit.
It was good.
I want to win a podcast award for that segue.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the other thing that we wanted to discuss. But the election was 2 weeks ago, so
yeah,
the recount.
Yeah. Seems like forever ago.
It does seem like forever because it was quick, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't.
You're right. It was 2 weeks ago.
A long campaign. It was a month and a way to go.
Yeah.
So I apologize if I'm pronouncing Eric Kuzmierczyk's name improperly, but it's not easy to pronounce. So initially, when that riding was decided, was Borelli, thank you, had won by a substantial amount of votes. Then there was a tabulation of all the votes, and it came down to 77 as the deciding factor, which is pretty close to what
172, I think, is what requires a recount
yeah.
automatically. And yes, Kuzmierczyk requested one.
Yeah.
From the report I heard, he did alert the Borelli campaign to say that he was putting the request in, and I think it was granted, right?
I couldn't disagree more. It's something like that is very close in a disputed riding, right, where he is the incumbent and lost his seat from the initial count. So absolutely, that let's do the due diligence and let's make sure that the election results are as initially tabulated. But it wouldn't be something like
Well, we just saw a riding flip from a recount.
by one vote.
By one vote.
One vote. That was in Quebec, right?
Yep.
So, these things do happen, and with the electoral process, we should be observing the rules as they are, as they're written. And it would be great if when people are voted, that everyone involved, or when people are voting, everyone that is involved is educated in the rules about voting.
Well, so I went to vote, and
Did you?
And
It was another good segue.
I did. I forgot even about this story that we were going to tell it. So I went to vote.
The Academy.
Great job. So I went to vote, and I forgot my voter card at home. And so I checked on the website to make sure that my memory from when I was covering elections was still accurate. And you can show up with your driver's license and vote, because your driver's license is a government issued ID. It has your picture on it and it has your name and your address, so they can verify name, address, and your identity off your driver's license. There are other options which include other photo ID and a utility bill. But when I got there, when I said I didn't have my voter card, they're like, "Oh, well, we need to see two types of ID, and your driver's license isn't enough." It's like, well, that's not right. And they're like, no, like we've been doing this all day. Like you can't vote with just your driver's license. I'm like, well, you're actually going against what the Elections Act says. So like, okay, well, go to the next person. They'll be able to help you. So I go over to the next table. And I do want to point out that everyone that was working in the polls that day, they were fantastic. I don't think that any of this is on them. I think it's on the actual training that they provide to the people that are working in these polls. And I think Elections Canada has some work to do in their training programs. And that has been a topic of conversation as they've been debriefing following the election, because this incident it happened in several places, and there has been media stories that have been done on it. But I went to the next person, and they again, no, you have to have your voter card and your driver's license. Like, no. So then one of the people who worked there handed me a sheet of paper that had all the information from the website on it. Like, well, as you might see on that sheet of paper, actually says option 1, driver's license, with no mention of voter card. So they let me vote. The one thing that they weren't really clear on, though, is, and they said they didn't think that they had turned anyone away from voting because they didn't have ID. But I would be interested to know if anyone was turned away, because if you weren't, now it's not that it would have mattered, because Chris Lewis won our riding by a fairly substantial margin. Mm-hmm. It's not like one or two people turned away from the polls is going to have changed what the outcome of our riding was. But it is important that people have the right to vote. Now, all of that said, the fact that we have so many ridings that are as close as they are, and you don't hear election fraud, election was stolen, people are camping out outside of offices, like none of that is happening, is a testament to how well our elections are run, and the system that Elections Canada and also Elections Ontario, the systems they have built to ensure that our elections are run properly, safely, the votes are counted properly, everything is done fairly. So while my one instance was a pain in the butt, and hopefully it doesn't happen for the next election, it's amazing that there was a ride. I honestly can't believe that there was a riding 1-by-1 vote, and you haven't really heard anyone up in arms about fraud, stolen votes, Where did they go? All of that kind of nonsense that you might hear south of the border.
No, but it's volunteer run, right? These aren't permanent staff that man these stations, so we are dependent upon the participation of citizens. The point being that the training just needs to be robust enough to make sure that validity for the voting process is what's solidified, right? There was a graph, and I'm sorry I couldn't find it, but it was really interesting. It took the percentage of spoiled ballots across all of the ridings across the country, and how many percent of whatever ballots cast were spoiled. And there's an unusually high number in Quebec. And they fear that it's the translation possibly from English to French and or the interpretation of what those rules are that may have contributed to that slightly higher percentage of spoiled votes, right? How do you vote? What is the proper marking? How, are you supposed to sign it? Are you not supposed to sign it? Is there anything that you do inadvertently, right? That's the education. And as time goes on and as we see ridings that go by one vote, it becomes even more important. The deliberation of, hey, the intent of the voter looks like they voted for candidate X, but because of this other condition, it can't be used, may decide whether or not a candidate may not be elected. So,
or whether or not at this point there's a majority government.
Correct, which is that, and that's the kind of point to drive home. It's 3 seats to a majority.
Yeah.
So these recounts that are happening across the country, and Eric, I can't do it. It's IREK, right?
Yeah.
His is just one of many that are happening across the country. And like you said, the one in Quebec with the one vote being the deciding factor flipped a seat. So
yeah,
these are important processes. This is democracy in Canada. This is what we have as citizens, and it's our rights.
I was in the room in Leamington in the municipal election. I think it was 2006 when Rick Cowan and John Patterson tied for the final council seat. And so they had to draw from a hat.
Oh, it was a 50-50.
It was literally, they put like 5 or 6 ballots for each person in a hat and then shook it around. And I think it was the mayor or maybe the clerk pulled a ballot out, and that was the councillor.
Wow.
And it ended up being John Patterson defeated Rick Cowan from draw of a hat, and he became the mayor after that.
So, yeah, you're right with the testament to how our electoral process is robust to the point that it's not criticized like other countries and or areas that are nearby, that a lot of those accusations get tossed out when we have very close, contentious deciding votes or whatnot. So
now I still would love to see ranked ballots, but that's
Kevin, that's another episode for that Kingsville podcast. So not really. We're never going to talk about that on the show.
No.
You thought that the Maple Leaf topic at the top of the show was going to, turn people off.
You don't think people want to hear like a whole hour on voting by ranked ballot?
We got a hockey game to watch because Kevin's probably, nervous to find out what's going on. So thanks everyone, moms and dads and whatnot. It's summertime in Kingsville, so get out there, participate. Go get your Hogs for Hospice, Counter in Sports tickets. Say hi to us.
Become a firefighter.
Hey, go be a firefighter. Do what you like. Participate. Be engaged in society. Don't listen to us. We are not the news.
No.
We're just 3 guys talking about Kingsville. Thanks for joining us.
Reading websites.
Reading websites. Next time, we're going to read the archives of the Kingsville Reporter.
It's 5 years.
Oh, it is. We were going to talk about that in another episode, but moving on. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on that Kingsville podcast.